Folks, we're back. This is Steve Sanson and Stephanie Phillips with another episode of Veterans in Politics. Today we have an exciting guest in honor of the United States Marine Corps' 250th birthday. U.S. Marine, businessman, and author of Tenacity, Ron Coury. And before we get to Mr. Coury, Ms. Phillips.
Thanks for joining us, everybody, and thank you to our sponsors. We have Dr. Ari Nagy. He's running for Congressional District 3 for Congress. His website is nagyforcongress.com, and that's F-O-R, nagyforcongress.com. Jump on his website and get in touch with him. We also have Henderson's Mayor, Michelle Romero. She's running for re-election. Her website is votemichelleromero.com. votemichelleromero.com. Jump on her website and get in touch with her. We also have Cody K. Whipple. He is running for Congressional District 4, and his website is codykforcongress.com. That's the number 4, codykforcongress.com. Jump on his website and check out his platform. Also, don't forget to grab your copy of Steve's book, How to Navigate Nevada's Family Court System. You can get a copy on Amazon for $14.99. If you are a family court litigant and you don't have an attorney or can't afford one, this book is a self-help book and it will help you navigate that system. So grab your copy of that. Also, we have a merch store. It's vipimerch.com. vipimerch.com. There's all kinds of fun stuff on there for you to check out. And don't forget to grab your tickets to our Valentine's Ball. It is February 7th of 2026. On our Facebook pages is the link, and you can get early bird tickets and save some money and grab those before the prices go up. What else am I forgetting? There's something else. Anyway, remind me if you think of it. There's something else.
You got the ball?
I got the ball. For my rant, real quick, yesterday, I think it was, the day before, Congressional District 1 candidate, Bobby Kahn, he was down at the Animal Foundation, and he was donating some things for the animals. And all of a sudden, the people that work there came out and told him he had to leave. And it was because Dina Titus was showing up and the press was there waiting for her to show up. Bobby didn't know that Dina was coming that same day. And this was, 11 o'clock or so in the morning. And he went down to be nice. And these people told him that he needed to go because she would be upset if he were there because he's running against her. That to me is absolutely atrocious. Dina, your campaign team ought to be ashamed of themselves. Whoever asked and told the people at the Animal Foundation to tell Bobby Kahn to leave is absolutely terrible. He is a tax-paying citizen of Clark County, and taxes go to pay for the Animal Foundation. All right. And all those people that work there. And also Dina Titus, Bobby is one of your constituents in CD1. So I think that you guys need to think about this. And plus, we're in America. That's not private property. That's public property paid by public tax dollars. So you guys need to think twice about kicking people off of your property. The public owns that because the public pays for it. Anyway, I saw that video when he posted, and I thought that was just awful. So, Dina Titus needed to hear that. Yeah.
Mr. Coury.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for coming on the program.
My pleasure.
Could you give us a bio? Shame on you, Dina Titus.
Yeah.
Could you give us a bio?
Sure. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
And at the age of 19, I was attending college in my third semester in Manhattan called Bernard M. Baruch University.
Okay.
And I wasn't enjoying one of the classes I signed up for. And midway through the semester, I opted to drop it. And I didn't realize that for what was then called a student deferment, you needed to not just sign up for 12 credits, but you needed to keep them the whole semester. So I dropped the class that I wasn't enjoying. I didn't feel like I was learning anything from it. And little did I know that a month later, for all the shortfalls of our government back then, 1972, they were right on top of me quitting a class and I got greetings to go to the military because I wasn't maintaining 12 credits. At the time, Vietnam was going hot and heavy, and it wasn't a question of if you were going, it was how quickly would you get shipped off. And guys were coming back to my neighborhood in Brooklyn without limbs or dead, and I wanted to get the best training possible. So I opted to not fulfill the greetings and get assigned Army, Navy, Air Force. They didn't assign you to the Marines back then. I enlisted in the Marines to optimize my training. And when I got shipped over to war, enhanced my chances of survival. So that is why I enlisted in the Marine Corps.
Okay.
And during...
How long were you in the Corps for?
Well, back then you could enlist for 2 years because Vietnam was so unpopular. And so I enlisted for 2. I thought I could always re-up for more. And I went through the typical 90 days of boot camp and then 4 or 6 months of advanced infantry training at Camp Pendleton. And
I love Pendleton.
Oh,
yeah.
I love being in the Marine Corps.
It's a home away from home.
It's a great brotherhood that the Marine Corps makes you feel like you're part of.
As long as you're on Main side and not up in San Onofre.
Well, I did time in San Onofre. I had guard duty up there.
Oh, that should be fun.
Yeah.
With the coyotes?
Oh, well, I didn't know what the M14 was for because no one was coming, but we carried it, 14 pounds.
Okay.
And with the full clip, you know what that does.
Okay.
Anyway, it was great to enlist in the Marine Corps and everything it taught me. It actually got me to the West Coast. Otherwise, I might have never left Brooklyn.
Okay.
And
I'm Bronx, by the way.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, what's up?
Way to go, brother. So we both found Vegas.
Yeah.
So I was stationed in California, and I'd come to Vegas on weekends. I had a Monday to Friday assignment for duty. And I found Vegas to be a small town of 200,000 people, nothing like the 7 million in Brooklyn and 30 million in the 5 boroughs.
I got that all on my Facebook, 200,000.
Oh, is that right? Okay. Well, I opted to enlist. And before we graduated advanced infantry training, President Nixon at the time announced de-escalation. No more troops were going over, and they were pulling out so many thousand a month. So now they went from needing more people to serve in the military to having to find a place to put the ones that were coming back from war. And I was lucky enough that I scored fairly high on the aptitude test. And they asked me where I'd like to serve since there was no war to go to.
Okay.
I picked San Diego because it was just gorgeous compared to Paris Island for boot camp.
True.
And
no Sandfleas in San Diego.
Visited Vegas on weekends. And fell in love with the town. It was a couple of 100,000 people. It was a small town. And when a buddy of mine that I met in the Marine Corps, Dan Hughes, and I palled up there, we had guard duty together. We were assigned together to not only San Diego, but later in Barstow at the supply center. And we'd come to town together on weekends and stay at my aunt's house and do all the things you did for 50-cent drinks at the El Cortez. And on a $300 a month income, you had to figure out how you were going to spend your money. So Dan and I got out of the Marine Corps and moved to Vegas, decided to give it a try. He was from South Philly. I was from Brooklyn, similar types of upbringing. Didn't know him there then. I met him in the Marine Corps. But we moved to Vegas. He still lives here, and we were business partners. I was a casino dealer when I first came to town, and Dan had a graphic arts experience job in South Philly. So we moved to Vegas. Screen printing slot machines is how the faces were made before they started doing them photographically. And I became a casino dealer, worked downtown at the Carousel, the Four Queens, and then got a dream job at the Tropicana.
Okay.
Went to real estate school, worked selling real estate by day, dealt cards at night.
You just wanted to bring in all the money, huh?
I wanted to earn a good living and start a family someday, which is what happened. And Dan and I ended up staying in Vegas, and that was over 50 years ago, hard to believe. But I thank the Marine Corps for that. And watched Vegas grow from 200,000 people to 250,000, or 2.5 million,
Yeah.
3 million when you count Northern Nevada.
Now it's unrecognizable
Yeah,
compared to back then.
it's a great town though.
I think it was
love
about 865 when I came.
Yeah, still a small town.
Yeah.
By most standards.
Mm-hmm.
So that got me to Vegas, and after dealing for a while,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go into business for myself. And as a realtor, back then you didn't have business realtors and residential realtors. A realtor was a realtor.
Mm-hmm.
You sold whatever you could.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a guy that worked with me at the Tropicana, my pit boss, knew I had got a real estate license and said, find me a bar. My daughter can run it. I'll own it.
Mm-hmm.
And I went looking for bars for Danny Colleran.
For who?
My pit boss was Danny Colleran. Never forget his name, even after 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on my way home, I'd stop at the Suburban Lounge on Spring Mountain and Jones. And I thought it was a nice little neighborhood bar.
Mm-hmm.
So I went in and talked to the owner. He said, yeah, I would sell it. He gave me his terms. I went back to the Trop and talked to Danny about it. And he said, that's out in the boondocks. Nobody lives out there. They ride horses. Spring Mountain and Jones. He said, I want to be
town.
on Paradise or Maryland. I said, okay, I'll keep looking. But that bar idea got into my head, and I wasn't a bartender. I just thought I could run a business. And that was one where you didn't need a formal education.
Mm-hmm.
And being in the Marine Corps, you know, you learn to be pretty good with your hands so you could handle the troublemakers. And it worked out. Didn't have to hire a bouncer. I weighed 50 pounds more before my cancer, so I had some weight behind me. But got into the bar business, grew it.
What was the name of the bar?
Suburban Lounge West.
Okay.
Then Dan and I bought the Suburban Lounge East on Flamingo and Sand Hill,
Mm-hmm.
which the same guy had started. That's where the name came from. And then we later bought land and built the Castaways on Decatur and Vegas Drive,
Okay.
and Thirstbusters on Sunset and Val Verde. Running all four, which developed into neighborhood casinos, because the one in on Decatur could go to 35 slots, whereas the limit was pretty much 15.
Mm-hmm.
And Henderson hadn't developed a room requirement, so you could have unlimited gaming at the time, which is why we bought the half acre in Henderson and built the place there.
Mm-hmm.
So we had non-restricted gaming at the Castaways and at Thirstbusters. And I grew in gaming to the point that I could quit my dealing job, and did that until we sold everything and sort of retired, until I got into writing a book. And then here we are today promoting Tenacity, which kind of tells my life story and how I ended up in Vegas and how everything evolved.
So how many books have you sold?
We're at over 500,000.
Oh, wow.
Of written copies.
Mm-hmm.
But most people now download an Audible version.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really happy that I was able to hire Dean Cain to do my audiobook,
Mm-hmm.
which has been out for a couple of years. But when a producer that he's made 7 movies for came to town, we went to dinner, Dean, Jason, and I, and Jason asked if I'd consider doing a movie with him, which I did. He wrote a script. I did consider it. We wrote a script, and I'm very happy to say, this might be the first formal announcement, that Dean Cain is going to portray Ron Coury in the movie Tenacity, starting to film in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, wow. Congrats.
Yeah, thank
Awesome.
you. Thank you much.
Are you involved in any charity work?
Yeah, I'm on the board of a couple of charities. Lori Heron is an old friend that runs the Animal Foundation, the SPCA.
Mm-hmm.
And the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department has a foundation that I'm on the board of.
Okay.
And it's very rewarding work, helping cops.
Mm-hmm.
We help cops where maybe the benefits or the department can't, but we verify that they need the help, and we raise money privately as a foundation to help the cops that need help.
Okay.
And that's very rewarding volunteer work that I do.
So leading up to your book, or the reason one of the reasons you wrote the book, talk about what happened to you and how the justice system and people worked against you and all of that.
Yeah. Well, my goal, having been a dealer, was to eventually get a non-restricted gaming location. But while I was learning the business and developing the single tavern we bought, the laws changed and you couldn't have non-restricted gaming in the city of Las Vegas boundaries or outside the city, excluding Henderson. So Dan and I bought some property in Henderson to be able to explore non-restricted gaming. And we named that place Thirst Busters because we opted to carry 120 brands of beer from around the world. It was a marketing tool, something to say other than just being another bar, which there was pretty much one on every major corner, if not more than one. And we built and developed Thirst Busters into a very successful place that we later flipped and worked towards retirement. So that's what got me into the bar business, with the desire to be in business for myself. But what do you do when you don't have a formal education in a particular business? Be in a bar business, meet and greet people, and run a safe place.
Was it hard for you to get your liquor license?
It wasn't. I had no record, and they do a deep dive investigation, and many people don't realize it, but when you go for a liquor and gaming license, they estimate what it's going to cost to investigate you based on the resume you give them, and you pay for the state to investigate you.
Oh my gosh.
The agents charge whatever they charge, so much an hour for their agents.
Mm-hmm.
They assign 2 agents to every case. And because I was raised in New York, not Nevada, they sent 2 agents back to Brooklyn, where I hadn't lived for years, to look into me. I mean, that's how thorough the gaming investigations are. So it wasn't tough to get. It was just expensive.
How about the gaming?
That was the gaming license. The liquor license.
The liquor were about the same?
Well, Liquor and Gaming Board is what the city council serves as, but the Gaming Commission doesn't deal with liquor. They just deal with gaming. And you've got to go through both.
About food?
Well, the bars I bought didn't have food, but I was tired of watching my customers leave saying, we're hungry, we're going to go get something to eat. And we had food in a microwave.
Then they never come back.
They didn't come back. Yeah. They got happy where they went. They intended to come back, but they never did. So when we could borrow the money, Dan and I built a kitchen at the Suburban West. Mm-hmm. When we bought the Suburban East, it had a kitchen. And when we built Thirst Busters and the Castaways, we built them with kitchens. Food was a good food, and people in town know that Las Vegas bar food is excellent food. Mm-hmm. And known for chicken wings and chicken fingers, we'd go through tons of them a month. And the Las Vegas bar business was very good to us.
So what is the biggest misconceptions people have about you?
About me? Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know that I still have a New York accent, but they tell me I do.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, a little bit. But it was probably, when I look at old interviews that I did when I was on the Tavern Owners Board back in the early days, it was profound, the New York accent. But I think a lot of it's gone. And people have an assumption that you must be affiliated with the mob or something if you have an East Coast accent. And that was a common misconception, that nobody could come to town out of the military and get into all these businesses. There must be something nefarious about it. Well, you get a deep dive investigation to get a liquor and gaming license. So there was nothing nefarious about it. You just had to do the work and be clean. So ultimately we got the gaming licenses and did very well in that business until the time came that we were ready to somewhat retire. And I never found absentee ownership in the bar business to really work. So I was hands-on.
7 days a week.
I'd go in all shifts, all hours. And
you never close, right?
No, the bars never close in Vegas. 24/7, and you got to run shifts of cooks, servers, and bartenders to stay open. And we did really well in this town. So I feel very fortunate to have had the opportunity, and that the town embraced a couple of East Coast guys the way they did, and our bars did very well.
You own car dealerships too, right?
Well, I made a friend in Vegas through a casino host I knew who was from Texas. He was in the car business. And the host I knew at the Bellagio said, no, he was at Caesars. I'm sorry. I played poker at both. But Elmo Voss said, you got to meet this customer of mine. He comes in from Texas, and you guys are so much alike. So the next time Don Tamburo came to town, Elmo called me, and I went in and had dinner with Don. And we just hit it off. A great friend, similar business philosophies. He was in the car business. I was in the bar business. And when he decided to sell his dealerships to the Penske organization and move to Vegas, we were very close friends, and he wanted to live out west. So he did. And we eventually got into the car business together, bought Planet Hyundai on West Sahara, reopened a closed Centennial Hyundai, and then developed Henderson Kia, and did very well in the car business.
So what would you say separate a good leader from a weak leader in today's business climate?
Oh boy, the leaders that I've seen that failed either drank too much or got into drugs.
That'll do it.
And I've just...
Or hookers.
I don't know about that.
Or gamble.
It never came up. Or gambling. But back in the 70s and early 80s, a lot of people were getting into drugs. I was never attracted to it, never did it, and just stayed clean because I wasn't interested. I was raising a family and I wanted to set a good example. So it just wasn't something I was interested in, and I'm very lucky to have avoided it. And I think that contributed to our success in business. Dan and I trusted each other. We were both decent businessmen and honest, and building the bar business. And Dan was in graphics.
Yeah.
So with Dan, we opened Suburban Graphics. And back when slot machines were just evolving beyond slots to video gaming, Cy Red was an old gaming salesman from the place Dan worked, Bally Distributing. And Cy opened Fortune Gaming, later to become IGT, small public company.
Mm-hmm.
And Dan and I grew in gaming to the point that we could actually sell the bars we owned for a good price and pretty much retire until we found something we wanted to do instead.
So you're a businessman here for how many years again? Altogether, with all the business put together?
Just over 50 years.
So what would you say was the most corrupt or unethical business tactic you've ever witnessed?
Well, it's no longer that way, but when I went to open a bar in Henderson and declined...
Of course.
Henderson, of course. Ben Stepman. Yeah. Old commercial people might remember in Henderson, of course.
Of course.
But yeah, we went and built a place in Henderson because you could have non-restricted gaming there without building a hotel, something the county and city had developed a requirement. So we built Thirstbusters on Sunset and Valverde. I thought we just sailed through the process because we already had gaming licenses in Vegas. But there was a council member that I didn't know at the time was getting into the bar business and saw us as a competitor. Even though, well, it's in the book, Larry Scheffler.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess that's...
He says in the book, I can talk about it.
Yeah. So he shook my hand when I was in there to meet council members before my hearing. And then at the hearing was just a different person, aggressive, attacking us. And there was no substance to attack us with. But I found out later he was getting into the bar business. So limiting competition, I believe, was his goal.
Yeah.
And we prevailed. We had to take it to the Supreme Court to win.
Oh, wow.
State Supreme Court.
Why don't you just take him out back? That's how you did it back then, right?
Back in the mob days.
Come on, Ron.
Anybody watching?
Is it in your book? We just took him out back.
Yeah.
Did you know Tony and
had a hole already dug, everything.
Mikey and
you ever heard of Lake Mead?
Jeez, the desert
finding
was
them all
of,
now.
The desert was west of Rainbow back then.
It's not far to drive.
Yeah.
Not a far to drive.
So it was an interesting town, but we prevailed. Fought them in any way it was necessary, and we beat them.
Knife, gun?
No, in court.
In court, the
we
legal way.
We beat them in court.
Come on, you know the mob was around back then.
I actually offered a councilman that backstabbed me the chance to kick my ass.
Oh,
and
16
would meet him anywhere he wanted. No, just anywhere he wanted.
Bare knuckles.
And he just shook his head and walked away. We were in a parking lot in front of his business, and and I confronted him there and just couldn't get any satisfaction. But beat him in court, and then was able to sell our bar in Henderson for a good markup.
How many business partners have you had over the years?
Pretty
It's
much
a two-part question.
me and Dan Hughes were partners in the things in the early days. And then as we were selling the taverns, and I became friends with Don Tamburo, met him through my host at Caesars, and Don was contemplating moving here and selling his car dealerships. He did move here, and we would socialize, and he thought about getting back in the car business. So I was asked to join him. I did, and we purchased Planet Hyundai and increased the business multiple levels past where it was. I think in part because I had met thousands of people in the bar business.
Yeah.
And I was friendly to everyone, treated them right. So when it was publicized that I was getting in the car business, people that wanted a car would reach out to me.
Yeah.
And just
Jim
knowing,
Marsh?
I do know Jim. Yeah. Yeah. He actually later bought one of our Kia dealerships.
So how do you decide who to be business partners with, and how do you decide who to avoid?
Well, a business partnership is even more intense than a marriage.
Really?
I think.
Ooh,
And it's important. It's important to like who you're going to go in with and trust them. Dan and I were in the Marines together. I trusted him. I loved him as a friend. And we moved to town together. So it was a no-brainer to go into business with Dan. And then later when I met Don, he invited me
the
to...
D's, Dan and Don. The two writers.
Yeah.
Okay. That's probably one of your methods, right?
He invited me to meet him. I met him in Vegas through my host, but he invited me to Texas to see his car dealerships. And I was so impressed at his dealership operation. Just walking through the service department, it was spotless. It's how I ran my bars. I saw a synergy between the way Don ran his businesses and the way I ran mine. So when he thought about relocating here after he sold to Roger Penske, and then years later, he said, hey, I know we were going to go into the bar business together, but I got an opportunity to buy a car dealership. You want to do that with me instead of me learning the bar business from you? I said, buddy, I will do anything you want. I love to be in business with you.
Do you think the Marine Corps gave you some type of discipline and structure to bring you over into the business?
No doubt. No doubt. You avoid things that you shouldn't be thinking of doing, and you are very suspicious of everyone you talk to, and you pick your friends very carefully.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, so I think I credit the Marine Corps with any success Dan and I had here, because as I say, we met in the Marines, and the discipline that they instill in you helped us in business.
So I'm sure you dealt with the courts a lot. What's your view on the judicial accountability in Clark County?
I've been out of the business for so long, I am unfamiliar with many of the judges. Back then, it was not uncommon for someone to have their hand out socially when you were going to be appearing before them in court. It was just a different town.
There was no judicial ethics commission?
There was no ethics commission.
They didn't have those things back then.
Nope.
You've been here so long, back in the day, the way they did things is very different the way it's done now, obviously. Which do you prefer? Did you like it back in the day, the way Vegas was,
No.
or what it has morphed into now?
I became friends with two judges, Earl White and Don Mosley. Both were as honest as the day is long. And
I carry a gun.
Earl passed away. Don is a friend till today. We had lunch last week together.
Tell Don I said hi.
Oh, I will. I didn't know you knew him.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Years.
Yeah,
Years.
Don, when I was in the bar business at the Suburban West, came into my bar, and he was a practicing judge then, and someone we knew in common brought him in so we could meet. And that was decades ago, and we've remained friends till today.
So I'm sure you know another Marine. He used to be a judge. Now he's a senior judge. And he was in the bar business.
Okay.
Jim Bixler. Do you know him?
I met Jim, but I was out of the business by the time. So we, except for meeting and greeting, we really didn't get into any deep conversations.
Ms. Phillips?
Your book, Tenacity, why did you choose that title? I'm sure there's many reasons.
The best one is the company that did the public relations and helped me make my story a book. I sat with Brian Ruff and a couple of his associates, they had put words into writing for other authors. Wayne Allen Root introduced me to him. Wayne's a local celebrity, I'd say.
We know
him.
And Wayne introduced me to Brian.
Wayne Allen Booth.
Root.
There was this guy on a podcast that calls him Booth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, Brian and I became acquainted, and he helped me make my book a book. I sat with him over the course of 4-hour sessions a week or two, told my story A to Z, and he reduced it to chapters.
Oh, wow.
That I'd review. And it eventually became what we downsized it to, from 900 pages potentially to 300, so people would buy it.
So,
not being a Stephen King, no one was going to buy a book this thick by an unknown.
That's incredible. So how long did it take you from that point to print? Actually?
About 3 months.
Oh, it
wasn't bad.
Yeah.
No, I told my story to Brian in a week, and then he'd reduce it to chapters. I would edit them.
Well,
And over time, you think of things you forgot, so you could contribute to it before it went to print. And then, actually, the first guy that did an audiobook for me was Michael Madsen from Donnie Brasco. But Michael had problems, which unfortunately actually contributed to his early demise. And I wanted to get a different face of my story than a guy that publicity was representing the problems he had. And I was watching the news one day, and Dean Cain did an interview from California. And I thought, wow, when my kids were growing up, we watched him on Lois and Clark. And asked my PR guy, Brian, to track him down, and let's bring him to town, and let's meet him, and consider doing a second audiobook. The same story, but a different narrator. So Dean came to town, and we hit it off. And he did the audiobook that is now available on Amazon. And I'd like to think he had such a great visit, he ended up deciding to move here and bought a home here. And his mom and dad now live here. And he was kind enough as a friend, and not only an associate in the book building business, but invited me to his home for a party. And I met his mom and dad there, and he's now a great friend.
He's going to make he's the perfect person to play you in that movie. That is going to be so great.
Yeah. He's got dark-haired features. Actually is built more like I was before my esophageal cancer, but playing me in the early days, a lot of similarities.
Yeah. How many years have you been clear of cancer-free? Yeah.
The operation was 12 hours long, 20 years ago.
Oh, wow.
They took out half my stomach and my esophagus, and what was remaining in the stomach, they pulled up to connect me here. You can look hard, but barely see a scar. The surgeons were so good.
Wow.
And the scar ran from below my jaw down to my belly button and halfway around my back to do the stomach pull-up and esophagus removal that they did.
Oh, my goodness.
At USC Hospital in California, and saved my life. Had an 8% chance of survival.
8.
That's incredible. And imagine what technology is now.
Oh, yeah. That was 05. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got very lucky. I had good doctors, good advice, good surgeon, great surgeon. And here I am 20 years later. I feel very fortunate.
That's tenacity. You
You
never give up.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
So you've been in Nevada politics for years.
I never ran for politics, but when the town was small, you had to pick who you were going to support and hope it didn't hurt or adversely affect your business.
So do you think corruption got better or worse?
Well, better or worse for who? It became worse for the corrupt politicians and better for the honest citizens.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's gotten better.
The town
for
has
the honest citizens.
It's gotten much better. Yeah.
And what do you think made it get better?
Well, I think there's so much more news now than there used to be.
More eyes.
On TV. Yeah. And
like court watchers.
People
court
are willing to expose bad behavior, whereas before they were afraid with all the news stories about shallow graves, and people wouldn't stand up for themselves against what were perceived as authoritarian figures. And whether it was tenacity or being a former Marine, I just wasn't willing to take a licking and not keep ticking.
Let me correct you. You're still a Marine.
Thank you, sir.
What do you see as the biggest threat to fairness in Nevada's judiciary?
Well, boy, I'd have a civilian opinion since I'm out of it for so long. But I think things have cleaned up so much in liquor and gaming, where getting a privilege license, which was liquor, gaming, and real estate, all three I've had, people who shouldn't be in the business don't pass the muster. The background checks, even when I got licensed, they sent investigators back to Brooklyn, and I hadn't lived there for 2 decades. But they do a deep dive into you, talk to people you grew up with, not only people you disclose, but whatever their investigations reveal, who people you may know. And to get a gaming license, it says something about your character.
Well, there was no internet back then, so they had to go around and do it that way.
Exactly.
So Nevada is always known for it's the good old boys, type town.
It is known for that, but their investigations are thorough.
Do you think that it's still, the good old boys still run Las Vegas?
I don't, but I've been out of it for so long. When I was going into the business and opening new places, and a guy put his hand out for his vote on a city council, I didn't know if I was being set up and it was a FBI sting or the guy really wanted to be bribed. So I just declined it and said, if you believe in my project, vote for it. If not, vote no. And I just didn't get engaged.
Good for you.
Good.
So it cost me some denials, but I appealed to the district court. And when I lost there, because I refused another outstretched hand for a donation, took it to the state Supreme Court and prevailed there.
Good. Ms. Phillips, do you have anything else for Mr. Coury?
Which judge was that? Back in the day, the one with his hand out.
Oh, I'm not saying.
Is it in your book, Mr. Coury?
Is it in the book?
I
Tell all.
No.
Tenacity.
I opted not to embarrass his family. He's now dead.
Oh, I see.
But I just took the high road.
Gotcha.
The story still got told, and names in all cases didn't have to be mentioned. Yes. While there are a lot of names in the book, that just wasn't needed.
Is my name in there?
Maybe in the sequel.
Sequel.
Yeah.
There we go. We're going to be in the sequel. All right. Thanks, Ron.
Well, Mr. Coury, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing. Mark's going to zoom in on you, and you could promote the book or whatever you want.
Okay.
Point of contact, whatever you want to do.
Sure. Okay. So the name of the book is Tenacity. My last name is spelled Coury. Ron Coury is the author. There might be other books titled Tenacity. And it's on Amazon.com. You can order the book. You can order the audio book narrated by Superman's own Dean Cain. Now, I'm proud to say a friend, Nevada resident, and looking forward to the movie where Dean Cain will actually be portraying my character. And the script has been written. A producer that Dean has made multiple movies for is making my story, and Dean is going to play my character. I'm quite honored by that, to have someone of Dean's caliber portray me, and they start filming in the next couple of weeks. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Love it.
Thank you.
Love it. Awesome. Well, how much does the book cost?
Well, I think it's about $15 or $20.
And you can find it where?
It's on Amazon.com, entitled Tenacity by Ron Coury.
Okay.
And if you like how I look, you get a big picture on the back. There is a photo gallery online. If you go to roncouryauthor.com and click on photo gallery, there are over 100 pictures from the past and present in the gallery.
Are you gonna autograph that book for us?
He did.
He did?
Yeah, already.
Yes, I did.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
To Steve and Stephanie.
All right.
Veterans in politics.
She took care of business before you walked in.
She's always taking care of it.
And I have my own book that I got a long time ago, and I meant to bring that tonight for you
Well,
to
you see
sign.
my book over
So,
there.
I'm easy to find, Stephanie.
yes,
You call
I
me.
know. I see
right.
you every once in a while.
Thank
Well,
you.
Mr. Coury, thank
Yes,
you
sir.
so much for being on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for sharing. I
Appreciate it.
that.
Thank you, my dear.
Thank you.
Great to
Good
meet
to
you
see you.
formally.
Thank you,
Here.
Ms.
Good to see
Phillips. Folks, that's Ron Coury, U.S. Marine. Hoorah! Businessman, author of Tenacity. Make sure you get your copy on Amazon.com. And we hope that you enjoyed this segment of Veterans in Politics. Don't go away. There's going to be another show. This is Steve Sanson and Stephanie Phillips. Until later. We'll be right back.